And we are live. Okay, so good afternoon. We are continuing the work we started a while ago. This week, Dave's backyard. We were fixing the house model. Um, let's bring that in, see if there's any remaining work. Then we'll move on to placing other items in the garden. Is in houses. Let's double check. Here it is. I think I did the details Godot as well. So let's open this in Godot. Should be this asset. Dave's backyard, which looks empty, will populate this house. This is the new house model, except we haven't actually constructed the asset itself, but we are still working with scene. Oh, yeah, this scene. Okay. We should probably do eavesdrop before we move forward because we are going to need it. Let's do that. Warm up a bit. I think I'm thinking of a back door, and I'm trying to see where the garden is gonna, which direction. This might be the house door. Maybe we'll do something like door here, window here. Yeah, let's try that. These two are copies as far as I know, so they are good copies. So the parents duplicate this. We are not duplicating the children, so let's do Shift G, children, and extend, and Alt D. Could move this in coordinate X or Y. We'll snap it soon. So let's do RZ 180 degrees facing out. And we'll snap this to this face. Face, DY. We could move this here. Enable the snap. Arbitrarily move it here. Should have its own glass thing. Yeah. We'll bind the materials in Godot. I think we may have something basic here. No, we didn't bother make. Just have this sort of like a art design or whatever your matcap is. Muddy. Anyway, I think the one I'm using, this one. Looks interesting too. Certain aesthetic to it. But I think either this or this. Yeah, good. So we could have the window. Let's do Shift G and duplicate Y with. Then we'll do RZ 100. Shift tab to snap. DY surface. Shift tab to disable. Do this. Something like this. Okay, now we gotta figure out the east draft. Now, let's assume there's a driveway here. Street. Okay. So deciding where the east draft will come down. Some room here for the driveway. Um, let's try to put it between the door and sort of an awkward place, but whatever. Um, we also never checked out how tall this building is. It's 4 meters, 40 centimeters, 39 centimeters. Let's actually set the scale because this is Control A scale. I think we gotta do this for pretty much everything. Control A scale. And you cannot apply this because there are duplicates here. This is already scaled because we're smart about that. This is one of the column ones. Because we haven't started that from scratch. This one for sure. The part, there's also this top part here. Scale too. Should also rotation and scale. Maybe I should. Okay. Yeah, that one will be a bit of because it's sharing this. And different to do the balcony here. I separated this part, but that should be okay because we did this one. Okay. So what else? Good. All the doors will be good because they're. This is also copies of each other, but with the wrong scale. I think the way to fix this is this object is using cube 14. They're all using cube 14. So if you want to do something like going to say cannot apply to a multi-user because mesh cube 14 is well, that's the multi-user part, right? I believe we do a unique user here. You do unique user like this, so it is actually our unique user. I don't know if there's a smarter way of doing this because now I have destroyed the copy. If I do this now, it will no longer update this. Um, However, I think after the fact we can go and still utilize cubeboard, except it's rotated because this one is rotated. Fixed. Wow, inside if it's fixed. We have another one in the back. So the number of users is 2. Let's do this. Control A. Rotation and scale. That's good. This might be the same problem because this has plus also. windowsill. Okay, we have upper door mesh, lower door, all one glass parts. Well, they seem to be okay, so I'm not. The fact that if you started with the proper values, this would never been. Well, I think adding an eavesdrop here is also going to cut the boring aspect of this facade. So we were little under 500 triangles. I think at the end of this exercise we may approach 600. I think that's still a good number of triangles for this house. Um, let's see where we can put the eavesdrop here. Somewhere here. It's basically a pipe. How am I going to attach it? Let's say we have an opening here or something like that. It's collecting here. Shift A. First of all, put something here, right? Let's put a cube, and then let's not scale it at this point because it's gonna screw this one up. So edit, do scaling here. Good. Now we'll extrude this, but I want to first delete the bottom face. Essentially going to be a pipe. Ooh, my cursor was misplaced. Anyway, here's some pipe. Look at it from the side if possible. So this is already adding some character. I think we could utilize this roof part in a smart way that we hide the opening of this pipe sort of coming right under here and then. Hmm. Yeah. So maybe I'll attach this to the face here. Okay. So it's gonna snap to this face. Like this. You can see it's snapped. So now enable this. So we'll extrude this and make some kind of collection area here. Also, this pipe could be narrower or less deep, flatter, let's say. For that, we have to move. We actually have to move. Let me see. Something like that. Um, let's worry about this part first. Could even get rid of the back face because from this angle we'll never see the back face. We'll do that right now before we mess up anything else. So I suppose I might have to create a gap here. Basically, when this pipe is coming to this side of the roof from the bottom, there's some kind of a collector part. So we might have to move this so that it is actually. GY, that's the face. Now it's perfectly aligned, except this is gonna have a gap. Do we care about that gap? We don't. We might later. We'll see. Seems to be moving right. This roof is also extending a bit much. Maybe to pull the roof in. Perhaps that's a better direction. This is roof. This is the edge part. Let's do top. This one. Vortex mode. It. Right? So we want to move all these. They align to this edge. Except when I do this, are they all going to collapse? Okay, so that's good news. Okay, we are moving in the right direction, definitely. This roof is no longer extending too much. We could even pull it a bit this way too. Let's see. Not really that important. This is the important part. So if I open a hole here, I'm actually changing the geometry of this roof edge. Um, which may be done with the texture, so it looks like a hole. So I'll pretend that I'm doing that actually, because this is not going to be extended that much. So we'll do, let's say GZ, okay? Let's imagine it's here. And we're assuming there's some opening here and its texture or material will look darker and then the counterpart is the pipe going down. So you'll be looking at the opening of this pipe. And even maybe that much detail is not needed. So here, do I bother with this stuff? So I'm debating whether I should be doing some kind of extension piece like this or downspout extension. Elbows. We could add this strap thing. That's a nice detail. Simple enough. I think I'll just end it with a diagonal sort of finish. Okay. So go into edit mode. So here are your vertices except the fourth one. So let's do this. So we gotta extrude this. Okay. But before we extrude it, let's pull it up because we'll have to pull it up. Extrude. Z. Down. I think I recently came across add-on, right? It's a default add-on, which is some edge. Is it edge? Could be edit mesh tools. Edit tab. Edit node content. Let's enable this. Maybe it's in the newer version. It was creating nice. It adds edges, but it does things for you. You know, you don't have to manually give that curvature. It smooths things for you. Forgot the name though. I have to look it up. If anything, it should be under what's the category here? Mesh. Yeah, let's enable these. Maybe we'll find some. Snap utilities line, tools line tool. Make line. Connect them to split faces. Okay, that might be useful. Issue. I don't even know what that is, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Um, yep, this is our custom thing. I think this is good enough for now. I think what's edge tools? Maybe it's enabled now. And backwards. Interesting. We create edges out of that. Let's see. Partly because I'm not in edge mode either, right? Edge selection. Whatever that tool was that I remember seeing. Was as if a menu opening like this, but at the bottom. These are the same settings that we see here. Okay, anyway. We want to extrude it, then we want to sort of rotate it, right? So Rx, this, which we could have done up here too. Get from the side. Yeah, they are not exactly rotating properly, right? This is around their median point. We should do that X. Either way, it looks like shit. I think the best thing we can do is, let me see. Let's extrude this face. And then we do a bit of curve here. I remove that back face, so it might not have been the best solution, but we'll fix it by moving these two sort of here, this way. Perhaps these two should also be. What am I doing? Let's make this opening this. We have a bit of a delicate look to it, and maybe we'll narrow this. We do S, this. Could even start narrowing it here too. And let's see if pulling these two up will make some kind of difference in the grand scheme. These two should be. Let's look at it from orthographic view like this, and tab out. Thing like this. I think I will narrow these two as well. Except it's gonna look even more awkward. Okay, I'll bring this back to its original spot here. This is gonna be a vertex snap. It's not gonna be like that, so it's GX. You gotta select it. That GX X done. Okay, it's all straight now. Perhaps this should not be coming that straight. We don't really need these, well, because if they disappeared, let's just dissolve them. Um, what? Why 5 vertices? Which is the fifth? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. It's the same geometry with fewer triangles. Okay, it's not really adding anything to the geometry. It was a straightforward piece. If anything, we'll add those vertices to create this kind of curve here, but that is yet to be seen. Because I think it conveys the idea. Let's put that strap here. It's a strap part. So it's essentially, how can we go about that? We'll do, let's rename this first of all. This is bootstrap. Then we'll create a strap. What is this detail? Oh, that's actually part of the balcony. Select this one. Let's do Control P. Nope, just P. Nope. No. Oh, because I'm in edit mode like an idiot. Okay. Use the balcony. That's how we want to keep things. This is backdoor. And back window. the back window. Let's create a strap. I think we could create this strap out of something like this. It already has a flat surface like this. This has no thickness. So we'll just do a shifty in place. Okay. This is still part of the ring though detail. We have to move this out to this level. Let's move to sort of root level. We have to reparent it. Okay. So this detail O2 we'll do Control P or Alt P. Clear parent and keep transformation. Good. So it's going to be the strap. So let's go in, delete the geometry. So let's delete all the bottom parts. Dissolve, delete all the edges. Okay, you have some edges. We gotta, let's look at it from the top. Vortex mode. We're interested in these vertices. We'll move them. Okay, getting there. So we gotta keep this as flat as possible. Then we'll do some kind of like a go around shape, which is going to be this and this coming in. Let's flatten it a bit. Object origin is also wrong. Nope, that's not correct. So let's do Q this origin to 3D cursor done. Something like this. Good enough. Without. We'll flatten it for sure. I knew it. This was never perfectly flat. There's always something wrong with this model, honestly. Since I copied this from the top, which means I think there's some misaligned vertices there. Okay, let's do this SZ0. Now they are flat. Let's do the same thing. Z0, SZ0. That's flat. This one is, yeah, we want to flat this part, right? Like this. This could also stay without any thickness too. Oh, what the hell? Let's snap this face to this face. Face, snap, GY. Because I'm going to do extrusion now. So which means I have to subdivide this. I'm gonna eventually move it down, so let's move it down. Okay. So let's do Control R. Because the whole geometry is so fucked up. Let's do A, M, collapse, by distance. Okay. Why is this face missing? Oh, because when I took it from here, I see. Um, so the bottom face could be missing. I don't care about the top face. We probably need a top face. So let's do F. Okay, complete, done. Let's go into edit mode again. Okay, this seems to be fixed. We'll do this. Oh, this snapping mode is Control R again. And then S in Y, nope, X. Okay, stretch them out. Okay, it's still not perfectly centered. Um, suppose this looks more centered. Okay, so we'll move the back faces in oh, face mode. This extrude in. This how far in? Okay, I see the outline there. See, it actually enters the building. Something like that. We could right now enable Shift Tab and then make this so they're perfectly snapped. Okay, that's it. Save the file. I haven't. And I think now is a good time to grab some water. Okay, let's look at this from this point of view. Would this much detail be enough? It might be enough. Here it is, right? Do we even need to extend this? Maybe we don't. Use your imagination. It's there. Maybe what we can do is this, so that it looks a little bit less. Tuck them in like this, and then do S, Y, X. They look kind of like curved. Maybe quite unnecessary. But it doesn't really change our polygon count. And in terms of light reflection, it might just be the thing. So that detail O2 has become strap successfully. Okay. Now let's select everything and call it a day. Um, Actually, one last thing, perhaps for the strip. This still has some faces here, right? These two faces, you don't really need them. It's 4 triangles. And then this bottom too. Go. Okay. That's it. And that's, we kind of have to keep this and then this if you, I mean, perhaps it's not going to be visible. Okay. That's it. Until I say otherwise. I do often. This is going to be under 3D models. This is wrong folder. Because recently I moved the file references, right? So work, models. Oh, it was actually here. Okay. Miscellaneous house. This is good. Only this. No. Good. Tracking the dough. Do your thing. You didn't do your thing. So when you do your thing, you come here and now we see the update scene. It's good. Because we gotta give the colors here. Here's glass. What we can do is this. Copy this. Paste. Here's another glass. The rest kind of stays default material. This is going to be one of those darker looking materials. And maybe we'll change the metallicity. It will look more metallic. Especially this pipe part. This. So there is some decision about these materials, whether we create duplicates of them or making them metallic and rough. Um, let's call this M first, because we don't quite know what the material or the metallic value will be. But when we increase this, supposedly this is going to look more metallic. Problem is, I think you have to change this too so it looks like metal. So let's go 60-50%. But this scene doesn't have the light source, properly speaking. Kind of looks like metal, but this is sort of the ambient light. There's no scene light here. So This house model is kind of broken right now because this is not showing the right representation. So let's try to fix that with this. Miscellaneous building type this. So this is going to be presentation soon. This is going to be an interactive object. So do this, and we have the set. Good. We just have to put this in Dave's backyard, but this is also missing some stuff, which is sort of in here. So maybe we'll duplicate this or bring in some stuff from here to Dave's backyard scene. I'm thinking how I can approach this. Wouldn't it make sense to put assets here into a structure that we could call a level, and then we have just a level loaded instead of all these objects separately laying out here? But there might have been a different concern here, so usually why things kind of go forward this way. Like say chair is just here, right? It's not part of the level, it's just sitting there. And is there even a table object? There is, except that is in, holy crap, that is in grounds. No, that's part of the structure that's holding grounds. I think this is a tree sort of node here. Okay. The grills. I see. That's actually the fence. Section. Section is. I see. And then there's the streets. Hmm. I suppose we need the environment and the camera. But see, here's the problem. I don't want to. I just want to design the level. I don't want to bring in any game logic or. I'm gonna investigate launch options and then we'll see where this is going. So launch will happen in 15 minutes or so. So that will be 3 o'clock Toronto time. So let's see what we can do in 15 minutes. So as I was saying, I don't want to bring in uh, other game systems into the level. I just want to design the level here. Um, why is this a concern? Sure, reload it. Yeah, there's a lot of loose items here. This chair is not quite here, and then this is mixed with other stuff. So this is acting more like the main level. So we need some kind of node here that is loading just a level, and that level might be Dave's backyard. So we kind of need a test system here. We either butcher tomato tutorial scene. We have a level. We might have to do that. Because streets are essentially part of the level too. And ground by itself is a bunch of, I see, long distance items. There's trees which are part of the level too, if you think about it. Environment doesn't have anything physical, but it has properties like this. So we gotta figure out trees, and then as a sort of as a separate thing to add to the level, we have streets for sure. Essentially, streets, ground, and trees are part of the neighborhood. We have house as a, oh, so this house is this, but this house is, I see, that's a separate thing because this is an interactive object. This has its own scene. I see. Actually has a node group. The house, yes. See, storage area is this box. Okay. The storage area could be a designated spot in the level too. We need a storage area. I'm also going to include ground as something to take care of, right? This puddle is a test unit there. Fill water or not. Here is kind of an odd thing. At least we did it. Done. So this looks like a copy of the original demo scene. Yeah. And then the tutorial is snuck in here. Yeah. Part. So I think I'm gonna have to create a new scene here. We'll call. We most likely have a game script in game scene anyway, right? Game. This is the old one. Is this? I think it makes sense to tidy up that one. This game. We have a camera, other parts. Okay, they are individually working systems, so we should be okay. Let's run this. And it's crashing because Who knows why? It's freaking out. Water containers, scenes, entities. There's a lot of stuff here that's maybe not. Okay. From the tutorial, tomato tutorial, let's tidy all this up. We have environment. This has to be in game 2. So let's get rid of camera. Okay. HUD is there, but sort of going, right? See, this is what I was already doing here, sample level. This is that, yeah. So we'll bring in the level into yeah. There should really be nothing about the level, it's not just the level. So in other words, we are going to have a level the node, which is just a spatial node. Okay. And let's call this level. This is more like level container, really. Not the level itself. Okay. Add. In fact, I'm going to call this level container so it acts like one of those level containers. Okay. Inside here, we'll introduce Dave's backyard. So this is going to be gone. Okay. Here's an empty scene. This doesn't have environment. Let's stick environment in here. Now here's where I have a bit of a this doesn't make sense. Why would this street and raining be part of environments? I have to investigate that. Here's environment by itself. I see, it's particle effects. But why was I seeing streets? This is not the environment scene anyway. Something is confusing here. Environment. Oh, that's actually the folder itself. But there is also a scene assigned to this. Okay, that's the confusing part. Scene environments, raining. Okay, so this scene is only holding a particle. Maybe we'll simplify it later to just bring in a particle system instead of a scene that holds a particle system. Is this good enough for us? Let's see. Tomato tutorial, environment, which is the same thing as this one, right? This one versus this one. We said no trees. We need camera for sure. Okay. So of course we don't have the level itself. That's why everything looks blank. Makes a lot of sense. HUD is HUD. We don't have the HUD. Bring in the HUD. Background music is there, so we could also kept it anyway. Um, yeah, so trees, ground, streets, they're all going to be part of the level, and house is also this sad house is sitting over there. That's going to be level 2. This is the whole level. Chair is level. Puddle is a dynamic unit here, which doesn't make sense. Storage area is going to be part of level. And this is specific to the tutorial that is actually now. Um, so that might be it. There's also hot tutorial here. Seems to have the cut. Okay, I see. That's done because of the custom stuff for the tutorial panels. So let's run this. This is where we'll get in trouble. Get notes in group house, water service. Because this is expecting to have a house. And I just don't know how many of these systems are going to be was water container. So it assumes there's a item with the house node. I mean the group name. So it must be in section itself. There's going to be a house. Let's go to the visual part. Let's click. Yeah. Okay. This says house. This is okay. So okay, what we can do, let's do this. Dave's backyard, right? We need to bring in an asset here, which is going to be the house itself. This is the house that we are just building. We're not bringing the model, we are bringing the assets. Asset that actually has the no parent to instance. What the? Really selected. This is the scene, open, done. Okay. Now, where the hell is it? Oh, we also may not have checked the size of things. It's a template. Why is this empty? Because maybe I did not save it. Let's delete you. Let's go here, close the game. Asset factory. This is the house. It's an interactive thing. It's also an activator, actually. That's what really what it is. Okay, here's the house. Let's save this. This is now under assets. So now do your thing, which is this one. Okay, there we go. Now, one thing I haven't truly checked in Godot, I mean Blender, is um, 4 meters. I think this size is okay, considering how things are. The center point is abysmally wrong, though, because everything is sort of like, eh. It's not centered at all, or like bottom aligned. How can we do that easily? Let's see. There's still some weird stuff going on. This. So let's pick the bottom edges here. Edit mode, edge. Here it is. Cursor to selected, and then we do origin 3D cursor, right? Do this, and then we'll do something like Shift S, cursor to world origin, select everything. Then we do median point. We do Q selection to 3D cursor. Holy shit. Bounding box center, perhaps. Q. Nope. Clearly doing something wrong. I want everything to move. Maybe this is where I do the snapping to connect. Okay. Okay. Everything looks to be centered. As centered as it can be. Do another export. This. Save. Good. Let's create the asset again. Fortunately, it did not really take over, right? Here's GLB. Open anyway. Create this. There it is. And everything is kept. We'll later see if this metallic behavior is going to be okay. That's what we are trying to test anyway. And this is now fixed. Dave's backyard. Here's Dave's house. Okay, in all its glory, this is Dave's backyard. We gotta go here and then see the level container. In here, we'll introduce Dave's backyard. Now, we are hoping that because Dave's backyard has, well, does it? This house must have a housed group. If it has, then this might actually work too. It doesn't give an error. Right here. Here is the house. We should be able to rotate or move. We're kind of moving, but everything is a little bit, let's see, outwards. I'm moving, not rotating. But we have some stuff ready. I think lunch is happening, so I'm going to be continuing after the lunch break. See you soon. see. We have a basic scene rendered. There's no ground. We see the compass markers, the white cubes. I think this is north, this is east. Um, let's see. Don't seem to be able to rotate the camera. Move is also a little bit slow. Is this because of scale or not quite sure? This looks like the camera. Give it, I see. Let's call this camera. Should have been just fine. Let's take a ground object, a better perspective of things. Mesh instance. And let's put a plane here. We'll make this plane bigger. I think we'll just do geometry. No, this one mesh scale or size. Let's make it 100 by 100. And I think F5 is attached to the game script, game scene. It's not. It's actually going to the demo. Run. No, tomato tutorial. Okay. Let's be in the upper folder. 5. Right there, we have the ground. Everything looks a little bit too white, perhaps. Let's assign a material, something that looks a bit off-white. Dirt, dirten. This, yeah, this has some normal texture applied to it. It's actually brown one like this. Funny thing is, okay, we still see some shadows here. It's not strong because we have the hours. Yeah. Don't really know why the shortcuts E and Q supposed to rotate. Let's open the tomato tutorial. Let's do. So this is working. Oh, for some reason we have. That's bizarre. So the we have actually changed the rotation keys from delete and page down to Q and E. Yes, it's gone back to delete and page down. That's odd. Just want to see the other side of the house. And here, those keys are not working at all. Makes me think that the tomato tutorial is using a different stuff. Script. This explains that Z tutorial. This has its own. Okay. Disable movement. True. Game camera. Urban camera. Disable movements. So camera rotate left. Yeah. Something is not adding up here. Already exists. Okay. Know that. Camera rotate left. Delete and page down. And yet even this move is so slow. Like as if these values are. Oh. But perhaps the defaults should be. I see. Um. Zoom. So elevation is 20. Max zoom size 26. And the other one is 2. Zoom factor is almost 2. Rotation time is 0.5. Speed and limit is 50. Maybe these should be the default values, and there's this offset here. Kind of looks like the offset. Oh, this is a separate view anyway. So definitely this speed is not correct. Rotation time hasn't changed, so let's do this so we can test the speed at least one thing at a time. Okay, so this is okay. The rotation is still not happening. Elevation is okay. This could stay too. I don't care. Limit. I don't know what limit is doing. Okay, let's run again. Okay, now is a good time to test the models too. But also, it's as if the ambient occlusion is not on. Looking at the door frame here, there's a bit of weirdness here. This is like the flipped one. So if only I could actually look at the front. Let's change this to 50. Elevation to 20. Maximum is 26. To be honest, that 28. Okay, maximum zoom size, we mean like how far back we go? Let me see. Maybe this is too much. Maybe it's okay. Let's do 64. Okay, rotation is 0.5. Either way, the rotation is still not working. Speed is fine. This is still that cutoff thing. Let's go to 32. As close as possible to 26. Isn't this the same camera instance, to be honest? It is. This is the one that we use here. It is. If blocked, return. Why would it be blocked? Is this about that raycast? Why would it be blocked? What blocks it? Is UI blocked? That's a separate thing. Action context, entity context menu. Why is this inside camera? Okay, that's not much sense there. Move camera to target. When something happens here, it's blocked. Okay, when we are moving the camera to the target, we don't want to rotate the camera, so we block it. Let's check the next thing. If block, return. Otherwise, block it. Okay, so when we are rotating, we temporarily block it. That also makes sense. Now we set it to false. Except it should have started as false. On tween all completed block false. So there's a tween here that is okay doing the movement. So in other words, the camera script's blocked. Is it false or true at some point? That's what we should check. Go to remote. Let's look at the camera, which is going to be inside here. This is going to have blocked false. So that's actually good news. But we do E for this. The fact that this shows blocked is good news, but it's not doing this. So we come all the way here. Okay. There's something here that is not happening. So this result is probably go down, over. Current position is translation, so we just have to step over to get it. Final position. That's also 0. Camera global transform. That's just another transform. Space intersect ray. Is the result empty? Result is empty. So result shouldn't have been empty. So what is it that this is trying to intersect? Space. Space is get world direct space state. Camera global transform origin. Origin minus. So it's as if it's trying to intersect something in Z 100 units. The fact that this number is not matching is also concerning me. Why should it be arbitrary like that is also okay. Minus 25. Okay, minus 25 in Y. This. So the calculation is done in Z. Let me look at the transform here. I think this. However, we kind of moved the camera anyway initially. Run it again. And here's blocked. Let's actually disable this. Let it go. Still no luck. Let's put it again. So I'll put it actually here. Let's do another rotate. The fact that this is actually stayed on is the problem. So let's do pick. This is empty. So we seem to have lost basic camera function. So that's not good. It's not good. So from to, I don't think we are using into exclude. So from the current point, right? Translation offset of the transform. Column 3, the fourth column, equivalent to array index 3. So I'm a bit suspicious about this one. Is this 111, 1231, 3411, which is this, is 0 here. So let's put 12 and then 3. Really not sure if that's actually the whole difference, because we are actually moving things around. Okay, let it go. We do this, temporarily remove it. Did you remove this one? No, you did not. So still not working. Okay. And in remote, let's look at the camera again. Okay, something is not making any sense here. So let's reset these transforms. Um, I could either try to fix this or keep keep working on the garden layouts. What I don't understand is why are we casting the ray in Z? Seems to be sort of this axis. Another problem is it actually doesn't find anything to intersect. That's because there is no collision. So in the tomato tutorial, we have a ground object here. This one of these things, right? This most likely has a collider somewhere. So let me think, this one or this big guy, mesh instance collision shape. That's the ground object. This is colliding with something, so it actually knows to rotate around. So actually, this should not be an interactive object, but well, it kind of is, except um, sort of like to catch the mouse clicks to disable things. But it's also doing something else too. So we have overloaded this function over. Not really a good design here. This is still the most basic thing. This is from like months ago. These two are responsible for doing the most basic things. Bit of overloading here. Um, Either way, the moral of this story is that we need to have collision shape for ground object. So we have a mesh instance, it's a plane in here. Sorry, not there. This backyard is mesh instance, so this should actually have ground logic. So we could actually create something that is sort of catch all. So in other words, we could actually create the ground. Do we actually have a ground object by itself? Background music. So the way this is, let me see. That's fine. Interactive. Interactive as a node. I mean node group. It's an object. This is basically a static body. Let me see how I can pull this off. Do we really need this event? This interactive script could be. So I'll try to create this model. Let's copy this in this backyard. Here's the ground. Oh, we actually have grass too. Oh, it's all part of it. Okay, so that grass is gonna go on scene anyway. We'll deal with that later. We won't have this. This mesh instance, which is reason why I can't see that is because of. Okay, here's the ground mesh instance, which is using its own material. So perhaps this shouldn't copy, undo. This mesh is mesh, so this is 200. This doesn't look right. Because then it will look elevated. This should be paste. So we could disable our own mesh instance, which is disable this, re-enable this. Here's sort of ground. Here's the collision shape. Now the camera will be finding something to intersect the house. So we'll deal with that cutoff thing. So this should, okay, we have breakpoint, so remove it. Okay, we have the rotation back. Only problem is there is no problem. We have the shadows working just fine. Let's speed up. Okay. Let's check the position of things. Now we know the house is at 0, 0, 0, right? Perfect 0. This ground itself also at 0, but interactive transform, that's also okay. Mesh instance itself for the collision shape, just a second. Something here is not adding up. When I disable this, house is at perfect 0 because we said so in Blender and it actually came here. 0 then. I also want to look at this door frame here, which I think there is some kind of a bizarre behavior. The top is not rendered. Normals are not facing. Okay, let's first fix that because it's definitely not looking like this. So let's do door frame 02. So this is really a door frame. Edit, select all, Shift N. Okay. I can already see that there was some sort of flickering there, which makes me think that stuff is not fixed. For this one, these two have, yeah, these three were okay, right? All using the same, okay. Do we have the same problem with the frame here, the window frame? I think so. So, in other words, we have to re-export this. Export. So now that we are here, we have to re-import this. PLP, open anyway. We do. Close this. Should be coming in fixed. I see it fixed here. Looks better too. So let's do 5. And in. And we see the top of the frame. This doesn't have ambient occlusion the way we see it in Blender, so that's why these edges, separate objects here, are blending into each other. That should be fixed soon. This door that looked weird is now okay. But did I disable this? I did disable. Okay. So the bottom of this door is right at 0, 0, 0, but this ground is actually, why is this over there? Why should this be sort of 0.5 off point? It's as if there is an object inside that is very pickable. That's okay. Scale is a bit, there is no script attached to this. Interactive object. Wait. Okay. So okay, I temporarily removed. Yeah, I only disabled. This has its own script, but I removed the script from the instance here, which kind of doesn't make a difference at all. But technically, we could do a static body here and move these two things inside here. This could be disabled. And it's still the same problem. So then is mesh instance elevated? Look here, it's 0. This was doing some star stuff, right? Okay, so why the plane? So this, let's do F5. Now we have the house bottom aligned to the plane. We have rotation. Let's see if we can enable the post-processing effects. Should be under environment, I believe. This world environment, urban environment. This one. On. I remember there were some good settings here. We'll have to check. Okay, there's already some difference here. We have to do a much better job though. So in essence, let's try to create these values, color values in Blender. Then in Blender, whatever light settings that we like to see, we'll compare it back and forth. Perhaps this is a bit too much here. How can I do this easy on myself? Let's see. If I have the engine here, so you guys can see what I'm doing too, because if I take it to the other screen, you won't see what I'm. So disabling it is this effect, which is too, and this creates artifacts. Let's get it a bit more out here. This part isn't that important. Actually, so I can see the chat screen in case you're writing. So ambient light is white. At some point we made it dark so that only the scene's lights would contribute. That might still have to be the same deal. Let's move it 1 hour. So this is kind of morning hours, right? And yet it doesn't feel like morning hours. See the proper shadows. The sun's contribution isn't quite there. So perhaps we do it something like this. So it's not white, but it's sort of yellow, sunny. More like this. Okay. Now, save changes. Yes, save it. Why did you have to close it? Responding. What have you done? So what happened? It's as if something tried to close the scene and it asked me whether I wanted to save, but who wanted to close the scene anyway? It's going to crash. Okay. Let's restart the scene. We are still in here. That is the correct value. We'll do run game. Game is here, scene is here. Ambient occlusion, slightly yellow. This part has to be done. Quality medium, quality high. Now, with the quality medium, blur is, let's do disabled. Like shit. 1 is still too harsh, 2 is, okay, so this blur might have to be 3. We'll also pause the game. Let's see if this is making a difference here. And let's fast forward the time to a bit of like a sunnier hours. Good. Still paused. Pause. Screen space ambient occlusion intensity on materials that have, oh, I see. Um, so in the materials we applied, there's also an ambient occlusion setting, and then this value is affecting that change. So I'll try to show it. There's this orange material that we are applying to the facade, is in this model. Let's go into this area. Let's click this, here this. This has this guy, which is not enabled. So if we enable this, and then save this, um, let's save this scene too. I might have to start this scene because I think shaders have been compiled. And also the fact that I did not enable environment setting. This, right? Now we should see something else here. Slightly different effect. Yeah, you can actually see AO channel effect is 1, so it's 100% affected. Uh, I'll go and then try this guy's enabled off. Again, this has to be recompiled. Take over. But just for argument's sake, let's restart. And then let's move 3 hours. And we'll see it. Maybe yeah, all this has to be adjusted carefully. The fact that I have no texture may mean that there is no color information anyway. So maybe this being on and off doesn't really matter because there is no texture. However, in the main environment settings, setting this making a difference. But we cannot really see that difference here. We were able to before. Okay. This is a pre-render issue, I think. But I may have to restart the scene. Let me restart the scene again. Let's only fuss with the main environment settings. One thing at a time. There are too many moving parts here. Zoom in. The zoom in detail part looks like shit. From far, it also doesn't have enough detail. Will sort of be here, zoom level wise. Okay. The fact that the material first had the AO enabled, then this fluctuating was making a difference actually. If the AO is never enabled, this is not really changing. Because clearly this is okay. Light effect density is too harsh. Edge sharp, zoom in a bit. I see. That does something. Too much. Between this and this, there's a bit of difference. This radius, when it's halved, and I'm going to have to re-enable that material, this material, AO. Yeah, right away it the fact that this is on but the contribution is 0, I think is cancelled. Also about, go back to environment settings. Yeah, I can see this. Look at this. We might have to turn this up a bit with more light sources. We have to check. Um, we're also checking whether this surface looks reflective because we made this metallic, which kind of does here, but subtle. So this is doing something. It's nice. How exposed it is. Let's keep that off for now. Maybe we need a better, like more more items in the scene so we can see. We'll do color correction here. Yeah, this by itself doesn't look appealing, to be honest. You have to be zoomed in to see the ambient occlusion. There isn't much going on. If we disable it, of course, there's a bit of difference by itself. Doesn't really look that much appealing either. So this might be a good point to stop. There's a bit of investigation needed, but I'm feeling tired. So may see on Sunday how it goes, and maybe we'll continue more environment settings, or we'll bring in more items to the scene. So we'll see. But for the time being, that's it. Have a good Friday and good weekend.